On the news tonight, INEC creates situation room for 2023 elections. Osun PDP replies Speaker over comment. President Buhari gets accolades for rehabilitating those granted amnesty. Chadian government survives an attempted coup. Good evening. Welcome to the major report. Babatunde Bolatito is my name. Now the news in detail. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke today joined Juma's prayer at Osogbo Central Mosque Ojaba, accompanied by chiefs and legionnaires as well as families of fallen heroes to perform the 2 Rakat Juma prayer. The prayer was part of activities lined up to commemorate the year 2023 Armed Forces Remembrance Day. In his sermon, the chairman of the State League of Imams and Alphas, who doubles as the chief imam of Osogbo, Sheikh Musta Imashal, noted the contribution of serving and retired officers and men of Nigerian armed forces toward the peace, progress, and stability of Nigeria. The Grand Imam of Osun State called on the authorities of both federal and state governments to see the welfare of personnel of Nigerian armed forces as sacrosanct. The Imam, while praying for Governor Ademola Adeleke to have successful tenure, called on Muslim faithful to emulate Adeleke family in love, support, noting that God ordained unity and law among mankind. Present at the Juma prayers were officers and men of the Nigerian Army, Police Force, Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Immigrations, Customs Service, as well as members of the Nigerian Legion and their families. Kano State Pregnant Welfare Board has paid 1.5 million naira initial deposit for pilgrims intending to embark on the 2023 Hajj exercise. Saudi Arabia authority restored 95,000 allocations to Nigeria and lifted off COVID-19 protocols for payment intended pilgrims for this year's Hajj, a development that restored over hundreds of Muslims will perform the spiritual exercise. Addressing journalists in Kano, the State Executive Secretary of the Pilgrims Welfare Board, Alhaji Mohammed Abad Dambata, explained that the board has secured the necessary approval to receive the initial deposit and roll out activities ahead of the 2023 Hajj year leave schedule for May. He said the initial deposit is expected of all intended pilgrims pending when the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria will announce the final fare for the exercise. It will be recalled that Nigeria pilgrims paid 2.5 million naira for the 2022 Hajj. The National Union of Electricity Employees has faulted the estimated billing system in the country. Secretary General of the National Union of Electricity Employees, Comrade Joe Ajaero, who spoke during the public hearing on a bill to amend Electric Power Sector Reform Act 2005, argued that the measure was in breach of laid down procedures and regulations. He also faulted injection of over 3 trillion naira into the privatized electricity companies owned by individuals without a commensurate increase in permanent power generation over the past 10 years. Comrade Ajaero will argue that privatization has further compounded the economic woes, maintained that the privatization policy was designed to fail from the outset. He maintained that there has not been meaningful improvement or contribution by the current investors 9 years after privatization and 17 years after the Electric Power Sector Reform Act 2005 was signed into law. While stressing the need to review the entire privatization exercise, the organization said its position on privatization is clear, but the staff are worried whether the amendments are critically based on the market private-public where they belong. According to him, the option of government controlling 60% shares of the facilities as against the present 40% inclusive of the negotiated 10% equity shareholding for staff, in line with the laws setting up the National Council on Privatization is imminent. Nigerians have kicked against the secret hike in electricity tariff. Now bring details.
Quietly increase in the tariff payable by power consumers across the country, which they say it is unacceptable even with the harsh economy realities in Nigeria. Recall that most of the power distribution companies did not make this known to the public. According to reports, the tariff increase was first observed on the tariff band, a non-HMD which was increased from 57.55 naira per unit in December to 68.2 naira per unit. Speaking with Osbc News on this development in separate interviews, consumers of electricity, including Prince Ayodele Oke and Mr. Folabi Kolawole, bemoaned the act of electricity distribution companies, noting that they are not being considerate even with the dastardly situation they are in with the situation of the nation's economy. They added that mostly the power supply is not constant, which has not in any way aided the growth of companies and other developmental projects. The respondents, who felt at the over 3 trillion naira injected into the private power sector, described it as outrageous, saying that the sector is making Nigeria and Nigerians dry.
When some houses will be told to pay like 25,000-30,000 naira in a month, is actually on their eyesight. I just pray that the government will be able to do something to our people, to the downtrodden masses, so that at least they can have something to really enjoy in this country. As a matter of fact, the light is not even there, and when it comes, it's quite epileptic. And with that, we should not be paying through our nose. So let the government do something.
They called on the federal government and other stakeholders to help regulate electricity tariff plans and also make sure the epileptic power supply will be something of the past so as to attract foreign investors, adding that this will make the nation a better place for us to live if necessary measures are considered. Oluwa Tobiloba, Odunuga, Osbc News.
The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority today said 13 fuel stations in Akwa Ibom State, including that owned by the Senior Special Assistant to Governor Udomo Manuel on petroleum matters, Mr. Victor Tefia, for dispensing and selling petroleum products for the public above government-approved price. The team led by Distribution Service System Storage and Tailored Infrastructure, Mr. Joy Okoro, who disclosed this while speaking with Nishman during a monitoring and surveillance exercise in Uyo, explained that the fuel stations were sealed for selling above the regulated pump price in the state. He added that 3 among the affected stations that violated the government seal order will be sanctions accordingly. According to him, 13 filling stations were shut down for selling far above government regulated pump price. 3 of them violated government seal order, adding that the affected petrol stations will not operate for a stipulated period of time. Oko therefore warned marketers to resist from selling the product above government price and revert the pump to the approved price in the state. It admitted that the marketers were dispensing the petroleum product at prices higher than government approved price of 165 naira per litre and above. The Meteorological Agency of Nigeria has predicted those haze weather condition, also known as Harmattan, from today to Sunday across the country. The Met Weather Outlook released in Abuja anticipated project of thick dust haze over the northern region of Nigeria, visibly of less than 100 over Yobe, Kano, Katsina, and Jigawa states. The report, however, stated that the remaining parts of the northern states, the central cities, and the southern region should be in moderate dust haze condition with visibility range of 1,000 meters to 5,000 meters. It also added that localized visibility of less than 1,000 meters is expected over parts of Kwara and Oyo State within the forecast period. According to NIMET, thick dust haze with horizontal visibility of less than 1,000 meters is expected over Kano, Katsina, Jigawa, Yobe tomorrow. The agency estimates the rest of the northern states the north central and southern region of the country to be in moderate dust haze condition with horizontal visibility range of 1,000 meters to 5,000 meters throughout the forecast period. Also on Sunday, there will be slight improvement in horizontal visibility expected over the entire country with moderate dust haze condition in the range of 1,000 to 5,000 is expected over the country within the forecast period. The Independent National Electoral Commission has established committees for National Situation Room and Collation Center for the 2023 general election, adding that the International Conference Center in Abuja will serve as the venue for the exercise. The Commission announced this in a statement in it by its National Commissioner and Chairman for Information and Voter Registration Committee, Mr. Festus Okoye in Abuja. According to him, INEC at its weekly meeting deliberated on several issues, including the venue for the National Situation Room and Collation Center for the 2023 general election. The National Commissioner and Chairman, the National Commissioner said, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu will head the Collaboration Secretariat Committee, while the National Commissioner for Delta State, Mrs. May Agbamuche Umbu, will chair the Situation Room Committee, adding that the Commission has established a National Situation Room and Collation Center where results of presidential elections are to be collated, and a few technical staff will assist him. Okoye said Commission also established committees for the purpose. Committee are electoral operation, ICT planning and monitoring, others are security, election and party monitoring, international cooperation, protocol, research, health services, as well as works and transport. The Independent National Electoral Commission River State says the collection of permanent voter cards at the registration areas will start from today till January 15. The head of the Department of Voter Registration and Publicity of INEC, Mr. Mark Usulo, discloses in a statement issued by Public Relations Officer Mrs. Geraldine Nekilemo in Port Harcourt. Mr. Usulo, on behalf of the resident electoral commissioner, said the collection of PVCs will revert to the INEC local government offices from January 16 to 32. The airgrid are unable to collect the PVCs at the LGA offices of the commission to do so at the registration areas at the stipulated date. They appeal to all stakeholders to provide a peaceful and environment for commission staff to successfully carry out the exercise at the 319 registration areas in the state within the stipulated period. As the 2023 general election draw nearer, Nigerians have called on the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure that politicians and electorate who engage in buying and selling of permanent voter cards are arrested and prosecuted. Those who spoke with Osbc News amidst the allegation by the electoral umpire that politicians are piling up PVC to rig the election, commended INEC for introducing technology into the electoral process, which makes rigging almost impossible. Oluwatobiloba Odunuga has the detail.
The general election is just some weeks away, and the major requirements needed by the electorate to fully participate in the election is the permanent voters card, PVCs. However, there have been allegations that politicians and some electorate have engaged in the business of buying and selling of permanent voters cards with the intention of rigging the election. The electoral umpire has described it as an effort in futility, as a biometric voter accreditation system, BVAS, with facial identification and fingerprint will make it impossible for anyone to rig the election. Reacting to this, an analyst, Comrade Wale Adebisi, stated that any politician who is well grounded in the use of technology will not engage in such a time-wasting venture, warning that those selling their PVCs will end up disenfranchised.
INEC PVC that people are, using as a business transaction, or they were now transacting it as a business, selling it, collecting money and all that. It's not their property. It's the property of the federal government, owned by INEC, but it is owned by them by right to be able to exercise their franchise right to vote and be voted for.
While reacting to the threat by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to prosecute parents of underage voters, another analyst, Mr. Waid Lawa, maintained that the INEC as an electoral body should stand up to its responsibility in the era of registration of voters, noting that the agency should make use of all its electronic devices to ascertain the age of voters before registration. He added that the warning made by the electoral body shifting blames to others and joining INEC to make appropriate use of its electronic devices.
How can you be warning parents when you know your duty, you know your roles? Somebody can come and present himself to you that, oh, I want to register. Look at him critically, you know his age. Declare that registration instead of warning parents. It is not every parent that send their rewards to go and register. It is the mind of those children. They cherish what they were doing and they want to participate. But it is the duty of INEC to now uncover this and stop them from instead of warning parents. Warning parents is not the solution to it at all. INEC should do their works. They should do the needful.
Speaking in the same vein, Comrade Osbc enjoined INEC to invest more in technology that will make underage registration impossible.
The registration should be much more of electronics than, manual and electronics. It should be purely electronics. This will now also save the issue of, it will take care of the issue of the underage registering and collecting PVCs.
The presidential election is billed to hold on the 25th of next month. Oluwa Tobiloba, Odunuga, Osbc News.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has reaffirmed that Senator Ademola Adeleke is still the elected governor of Osun State. The reaffirmation is contained in a statement jointly signed by Osun State Cabinet Chairman of PDP, Dr. Akindele Adekunle, and the Director General of Atiku Power Presidential Campaign Council, Honorable Sunday BC. The two observed that Senator Adeleke was robbed of his victory in 2018, had the victory widely validated in 2022 by God, the people of the state, and even President Muhammadu Buhari. Reacting to the declaration by the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Honorable Timothy Uleye, that the immediate past governor, Mr. Ademola Adeleke, will return to power by the 5th of July this year, Dr. Adekunle and Honorable BC asked the Speaker, Mr. Gitola, and the APC to forget the talk, the call on the people of Osun State to extend the support given to Senator Adeleke in last year's governorship election to all candidates of the PDP in the forthcoming election. The interim administrator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, retired Major General Barry Ndiomo, has lauded President Muhammadu Buhari for adequately funding the program to deliver on its mandate. Major General Ndiomo gave the commendation in a media conference in Abuja, saying the current administration, under the leadership of President Buhari, has done exceedingly well in funding the PAP and have given it sufficient resources. According to him, President Buhari has financed the program in a timely manner, and that is why the government has been able to pay stipend to ex-agitators. On entrepreneurship, the organization board said there are some initiatives that the passing of the 2023 budget, the program will set up cooperatives. According to him, the idea behind the cooperative will be for the same agitators who will become the administrators and managers of their own destinies. Now welcome to our sports segment. Chelsea have confirmed £35 million deal for Monaco defender Benoit Badiashile on a 7.5-year contract. Badiashile is considered one of the best young left-footed centre-backs in Europe, and this has been profiled players Chelsea wants to see is server. Omotayo Adebono has details of the more from our sports desk.
Signed France defender Benoit Badiashile from Monaco for £35 million on a 7.5-year contract. Badiashile is 21 years and spent 5 years in the League One and made 135 league appearances for Monaco. The central defender made his senior international debut in September against Austria and has 2 caps. Badiashile joined Monaco in 2016 and made his League One debut against Paris Saint-Germain in November 2018 when Thierry Henry was manager. He has featured in the Champions League and Europa League for the French club and has scored 6 goals and registered 3 assists. Meanwhile, former Ajax defender Daley Blind has signed for Bayern Munich until the end of the season on a free transfer. The Netherlands left back, who is 32 years, agreed in December to cancel his contract with Ajax 6 months early. Blind joined Ajax Academy aged 8 and played 333 times for the Dutch club during 2 spells in Amsterdam. He has 99 caps for his country and played in every match for Netherlands during the World Cup, which ended in the quarterfinals in Qatar. Also, Manchester United have signed Crystal Palace goalkeeper Jack Butland on loan for the remainder of the season. United manager Eric Ten Hag needs a number 2 to David De Gea after Newcastle United cut Martin de Bruyne's loan period short. Butland, who has 9 England caps, has been with Crystal Palace since 2020 but is yet to play this season. Tom Hilton, who has 3 England caps and joined from Aston Villa in 2021, is also part of the goalkeeping setup at Old Trafford. In the meantime, world number 1 Iga Swiatek was left in tears after a straight set defeat by America's Jessica Pegula in the semi-finals of the inaugural United Cup. Pegula, ranked 3rd in the world, needed just 71 minutes to wrap up a dominant 6-2, 6-2 win in Sydney. Roland Swiatek, the French and US Open champion, had beaten Pegula in their previous 4 meetings. The defeat is a blow to Swiatek, with the Australian Open in Melbourne just 2 weeks away. The 21-year-old enjoyed a fine 2022 featuring a 37-match winning streak that enabled her to claim 6 titles in a row, including the French Open at the Roland Garros, before winning the US Open in New York in September. Omotayo Adebodun, Osbc News.
Chad's cabin says its security forces have foiled an attempt by a group of army officers to destabilize the country and undermine constitutional order. Details of this and other stories are packaged by Abu Jalil at BBC.
Government said the plan was devised by a restricted group of conspirators composed of 11 army officers, adding that the president of the Chadian human rights organization, Baradin Tagui, was at the helm of it. The government said that security services have arrested those allegedly responsible for the incident, including a group of 11 officers, Tango, among others. Communications Minister and government spokesperson Aziz Mahal Sali added that the former investigation had been opened for violation of the constitutional order, criminal association, illegal possession of firearms, and complicity. He added that the investigating magistrate leading the case has charged them and ordered their detention. Similarly, armed fighters from Al-Shabaab have killed at least 6 people in an attack on a village in central Somalia that they were pushed out of last week. Today's attack targeted the village of Aloigar in Isabelle State, which Somalia's army and allied clan militia men captured from Al-Shabaab last week. A spokesman for the local clan militia, Hussein Adin, said the fighters attacked the village during morning prayer with car bomb, adding that soldiers and militia men were among those killed. Al-Shabaab said in a statement that it had recaptured the village and seized militia vehicles and weapons, but residents and local politicians disputed that claim. In the meantime, a brief ceasefire declared by Russia President Vladimir Putin but dismissed by Ukraine as an empty gesture was due to have taken effect today in what will be the first full pause since Moscow's invasion in February 2022. Putin's order to stop fighting for 36 hours during the Christmas came after Moscow suffered its worst reported loss of life of the war, as Ukraine had pledged to send armored vehicles and a second Patriot air defense battery to aid Kyiv. A senior Ukraine official said shortly after the supposed start of Russia's force in the fighting that Moscow's forces had struck the southern city of Kherson in an attack that left several people dead or wounded. Abdul Jalil at BBC News.
That is the major report on Osbc TV. It was edited by Abdul Jalil at BBC. Babatunde Bola, my name. Thank you for being there.